Hi, I'm Jürgen Teichert, and you are joining us on our first ever podcast. With me today, you've got Jessica Derks, our creative director, and this is the Wolfpack Chat.
Yeah, I like that.
So we'll still finalize the name of the podcast, but for now, yeah, Jessica, tell me, this was originally your idea, why we should host a podcast. So tell me, what went through your head when you were making this decision?
I just feel there's not a lot of talk online about the specific market that Namibia has because our population is so small, but our culture and everything is so specific. I haven't seen anything online that's so specific to Namibia that you can actually take away some valuable information that'll help other people within marketing or other creative people to kind of grow organically in Namibia instead of going through all the efforts and not seeing results. So yeah, when I pitched this to you, I was more so just thinking having honest conversations with people in the industry could be so valuable for other people in Namibia.
I think in Namibia we have a very undereducated market on digital marketing in general and graphic design for that matter of fact as well. So I thought this idea would work well to just interview industry experts, get their opinions on what's currently happening in the market, and then also how we as Namibians perceive this field.
Yeah, it's actually very flattering to be considered an industry expert at this point. I still feel like I just walked out of college and jumped into this job. But yeah, it's been a while. So I do think I've picked up some tips and tricks here in Namibia on how to do things. And that's why I'm here at Wolfpack. That's why you hired me. So
Well, I mean, in a field like ours, it's still a relatively emerging field, which means that the people who are currently learning this field or the people who are currently in this field are mostly actually youngsters. So that's what's happening is you're getting industry experts who are still in their late 20s, 30s. So uh, because it's such a new market, the market is only 20, 30 years old. So yeah, getting to our podcast, the topic for today is where design meets marketing. So in this session, I'll be marketing and Jessica will be design. So Jessica, when you hear the phrase design meets marketing, what is the first thing that goes through your head?
I think immediately, what is your audience seeing? Because in marketing, you're always thinking, oh, yeah, it's the flyers, it's the billboards, it's all of that. Yes. But people forget the design is such an important part of that. The moment I hear that phrase, marketing, design together, I immediately think, okay, but what are people seeing?
Do you think graphic design is something that's fully understood in the Namibian market?
No, honestly not. It's such a underappreciated role in Namibia. Even the people that are self-taught and, ran the whole YouTube tutorial thing, maybe do a few courses online, feel they're confident enough. I feel they don't get respected in Namibia. You can easily download Canva these days or some kind of poster maker on App Store and then think you can make this amazing poster, but you have no idea of all the theory that goes behind making something like beautiful but with purpose. And a lot of very experienced designers in this country don't have proper jobs. They freelance, but they don't get these larger clients because these companies don't think that graphic designers are necessary. They want to save money, so they go ahead and get someone that's very handsy and very creative on Canva and put out these posters. And in retrospect now, if you look back to the amount of years that people have done that, all of the content online that use Canva, you can immediately spot it. You can spot the same templates. You don't have individuality anymore. And that's 100% because you don't have a proper graphic designer on your team.
It's the same with AI generated
Oh,
content.
exactly.
Okay. And do you think in businesses in general, especially like the SME market, do you think they underestimate the role of design in marketing?
To an extent, yes. I do feel being not a graphic designer, but having tools like Canva, on AI is valuable for you to start up your business. But I do think you have to walk into it with an idea of, I'm going to expand and better in the future. So, yeah, I think some people do think that, okay, I've got a small business, I just started out, I don't need a graphic designer. Maybe yes, for the first year or the first 6 months, but at a certain point, you are going to have to take that step and get someone expert in to help you build upon that brand that you started in your whatever program on AI and so on.
And for me personally, I've found that graphic designers today, they lack a certain amount of marketing knowledge. It's very uh, based in design principles, but not necessarily based in what makes the person click. What is the alignment between a marketer and a designer? And do designers also have to be marketers nowadays? You can't just be a designer, you have to be a marketer as well.
Well, I started studying 12 years ago. And back then, we didn't have anything like social media marketing and stuff that was really that big that it was part of your syllabus. And even then, we had separate subjects about marketing principles to walk into, okay, but what's best practice in this case? And I feel like all of these freelancers now that decide, okay, maybe I can't afford college or university, so I'm going to be self taught. A lot of these courses online don't cover marketing. And you can see that clearly with the amount of designers that get hired into these roles and they have no idea how to do the work. Yes, they make a poster, they make a social media post, but you can clearly see, oh, but they don't know the golden ratio. They don't know that you need some breathing space between your text lines and your letters. They don't know about kerning and tracking and leading, any of that, because they didn't walk the walk to get the theory done. And that's step one. And after you have that, you also have to learn these elements that I'm using in my design. How is it contributing to your marketing? What is the client that's looking at your post or looking at your poster seeing first? Are they are they going to be directed to see the font first? Are they going to be directed to see the photo or the image you're using? These are all things that we got taught theory wise in college before we stepped into these roles. And because it's so common practice to not go to university these days, people don't take the extra effort to learn the theory. So a lot of our younger designers lack that extra knowledge of, oh, this is how marketing works. This is psychology. This is how people perceive what you're doing. And it's actually a bit of a problem these days.
I understand. And as the creative director at Wolfpack, an agency that specializes in return on investment, how does design pull through to increase the return on investment of marketing?
You have to be able to, almost want to say, translate what you want done in the marketing onto your designs. So, for example, you have your CI guidelines or you have your branding spectrum that you're allowed to work with. We as designers have to look at both. We have to see the company wants exactly this, but this is the ROI in the end. So we have to find a good middle between those two. And getting designs that don't match what you want to achieve and don't match what the company stands for ruins what you're trying to do. It doesn't contribute to your marketing at all. It's doing the opposite. So as a designer, you have to think, okay, if they want to sell, for example, shampoo and conditioner, are we focusing on the text, what they're trying to say, or are we showcasing the product as the main focal point and then the text comes afterwards? That plays such a massive role in what you're trying to do. So, first of all, you have to go to your marketer. What is the goal of the client? What do they want? Okay, they want more sales. Then, what you're going to do is you're going to have a catchy hook that you're going to catch first. And after your text catchy hook, you're going to move over to, oh, but what product is this? But for example, if a brand is new and they want to have more visibility, they want people to know who they are, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to have their eye track to the product first and like, oh, these bottles are nicely designed, or this looks like my type of thing. Then they're going to move over to the text. And those two different types of designs are going to have completely different results, whatever you do with it. So whether you're boosting it or putting it on a flyer, whatever your focus is and whatever your goal is with your campaign is going to change depending on what you're making your focal point on the design.
Hmm. Can you further elaborate on like what sort of design elements you would use to focus on sales and return on investment rather than, let's say, awareness marketing?
I would very much put emphasis on text. So obviously, again, your catchy hook, whatever your copywriter has written or whatever the company has provided, let's say they have a slogan or they have the specific hook that they came up with that they wanted boosted all over the country. This is how they want sales. You have to take that, use your knowledge of typography and what type of fonts and typefaces you find online, and you have to take that knowledge and find something that's going to catch the eye immediately. After that, you're going to decide, okay, are we going to have that wording full out all over the page? Is that going to be the main thing? Or are we going to make the text stand out in such a way that it's complementary to whatever imagery you're using? And that comes back now to branding and to what the company stands for. You have to go back and see, okay, this company is, I'll go back to the shampoo and conditioner. They are a company that does all of these products, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, whatever. So they're like very clean. They don't want all the frills and bells and whistles. So then you're thinking, okay, background's going to be simple, maybe just massive text on it, maybe a call or a little sticker or something that kind of showcases the project and the products, and then maybe small call to action, very simple, if that's what you want to go for the salesy vibe. And then obviously, if it allows and the design allows, you put on that contact information or how people can buy. And
Mm-hmm.
in digital marketing especially, you have a click through, you have where is it going to take you when you click from this post, and that has to reflect from the design. So they shouldn't be fumbling with, oh, I see this pretty picture but I don't know what to do with it. They should be able to see this picture and immediately know, oh, there must be a link or there must be something we have to click through to go see the product.
That's very important in the overall text.
Mm,
I mean, I've seen with digital marketing campaigns where you push people to landing pages, and something as simple as changing a few words or uh, increasing the size of the call to action button or changing the colors, it can increase clicks by 20%. Something as small as that. So from my side, how does color affect? Because I know there's a lot of color psychologies out there, like the big brands, especially in branding, like KFC, McDonald's,
mm,
they go for red because they say red is this urgency thing, this
mm-hmm.
fast thing. And then it's also apparently there's something about red that makes you hungry.
Yes.
So what is your opinion on color psychology, and how would you use it in, let's say, a landing page to get better return on investment?
So with color psychology, it's quite funny because we've kind of been given these boxes where every color has a certain emotion to it, but also every color has a certain industry to it. And that's because the big players have kind of set that standard. And you brought up red, but also if you look back at the golden arches of McDonald's, you've had yellow. And what is McDonald's whole thing? Happy. I'm joyful. And you see that throughout the whole brand, not just the color. So your color has to be like one of the first steps into stepping into your brand. So I'm going to go back to our little case study company, and we're going to say, okay, wellness, cleaning products for your body. You're thinking, okay, maybe we're going to go with green or something like a soft pastel color, maybe a purple. And you're going to think back, how's that going to make people feel? Purple, for example, probably in color theory means something else, but for me personally, I would say, okay, like a light purple makes me feel calm because I'm thinking about lavender, I'm thinking about all of these essential oils that are going to make me feel so relaxed. But then that's me. I perceive purple that way. So let's say Yanni, he's a guy, he walks in, he sees the shampoo and conditioner ad, and I use light purple. He's going to be like, oh, but light purple is a girl color. Why would I buy this? This is probably like a woman's product. And that's where you kind of have to distinguish and go back to your marketer. What's your demographic? What age group are you targeting? Are you targeting men more than women or vice versa? That also plays a massive role in which colors you're using. And then obviously, race, culture, all of that, especially in Namibia, you have to think back, okay, but for example, the Oshivambus, those bright pinks, those contrasting blacks. If you're specifically marketing to them, you're going to be thinking, oh, that magenta bright pink, or immediately call to them. And then we're going to have those black elements that are going to pull them in. You do need the theory from the marketing side, and you do need the analytics and the information from the marketing side to decide your color factor. And the massive thing that everyone forgets is readability and contrast. You can't have white text over a light green background because not everyone's going to be able to read that. And you need that accessibility as well. You need something that's going to pull your eye to this design, and that you achieve by using color.
It's interesting that you say that, because I've met so many clients that they don't understand the complexity behind design or the thought that goes into it. And that's not just with design, but it's with marketing as well. Now that you mention this, it's color psychology, it's typography, it's target demographic. And one thing that I also noticed is when we're doing ads and we're doing very targeted ads, then it's not just from a technical point of view where you go and set the standards or you set your checklist on Meta and you say, oh, I want to target 18 to 30-year-olds, or I want to, they need to be male, they need to be in this region, etc. These are the interests they have. But that you can also, there's a more powerful side of targeting where it's from a visual point of view, in videos, in designs, where you call out your target market and then they know it's for them. So where you would say, hey, real estate agents in Windhoek, do you want to sell more properties? Then immediately everybody that thinks, oh, well, I'm not a real estate agent, they scroll, but the real estate agents don't scroll. And that creativity aspect of, from a graphic design point of view, from a scripting point of view, that your color psychology, your typography, it's all linked back to targeting and who you're trying to speak to. So yeah, it's very amazing that there's so much that goes into graphic design, and it's not just this everyone can do it on Canva kind of thing.
Don't get me wrong, your Tani or your mom or whatever can still make the kids' birthday cards, or the invitations and the decorations for the birthday party on Canva. Don't get me wrong, but when it comes to actual marketing and you have a certain goal to reach with what you're designing, you're going to have to get a professional in that knows these things. And if you don't have a professional that knows these things immediately, you're going to have to go out and find someone or find a reference and start that process of finding someone that fits in with what you're trying to do, because otherwise you're going to have all these pretty designs and nothing's going to come of it.
Yeah, one thing that I feel we speak a lot about how the public perceives design, how the public perceives the role of the graphic designer, but how does the marketer perceive the role of graphic design, and what do you feel is misunderstood? So, for example, in this case, I'm the marketer and you're the graphic designer. What do you feel we as marketers often misunderstand or misinterpret from a design point of view? Like, is it I know one thing is we always think, oh, it's just a quick change, or just make this happen fast, and I don't think we always understand how much goes into the back end of a design, especially editing videos.
Yeah, let me just say one thing. Me walking into marketing and working with you from the get go, I think I've taught you a lot. I think just me telling you, no, it's not a quick change. You're going to have to wait for it. And you learning that not everything takes 5 minutes to do. I think you're at a good point now. You know what to expect from me. But in the beginning, it was like, whew, okay, I'll try to do it now. You kind of want to impress, but also at the same time, no, give me time to do something right. And that's where I want to start off. If you're going to rush something, it's not going to be done well. You have those three boxes: cheap, good, and I think the other one is for
Price.
price. And you're not going to have all three. You're going to have two of those at a time. And that's the same with the designer. You're not going to find a cheap designer that's going to work fast and give a good product.
Mm.
It's one of those things. And in marketing in general, and I've seen this with obviously not just you, but with a lot of the other colleagues that we work with, and especially the clients that have a on the site marketer that we work directly with, they don't have the basic knowledge of what a graphic designer's role is. You think, okay, this person is going to walk in, they're going to edit your long form videos, they're going to edit your reels, they're going to make your social media posts, but they're also going to design your billboards, and they're going to design your flyers, your business cards. And then if you have a PowerPoint presentation, you're going to have to do that as well. But then this guy needs his headshots done. So now you have to be a photographer as well and a videographer. And to an extent, in Namibia specifically, a lot of us wear a lot of hats, but a jack of all trades is a master of none. So you do want specific types of designers for specific roles. And you're always going to start off with someone that's going to tell you they can do everything, but you personally are later on going to see, okay, but they excel in XYZ, and not use them for ABC because you're not getting that result from them or that product that you want.
Yeah.
And when I walked into Wolfpack, I started off as A to Z designer, but I think as we went on, my role kind of changed in the past 2 years. So I think we've also got a good grasp on what I specialize in
Yeah, I think it's the
general.
same with digital marketing, where it's such a wide field, but you're expected to be able to do everything from paid media to uh, graphic design to website design, email marketing, etc. And what we forget is within each field, there's a bunch of different fields. Personally, I've worked with a lot of graphic designers, and not a lot of graphic designers are good at video editing. They can do it, but then they almost do it like Canva style,
Yeah.
like how you would do it.
Yeah.
But proper graphic designer, they've got the right programs, they've got the right flow of how a video should go, what grabs attention, the ways to design. And yeah, at Wolfpack we do a lot of short form video content, so we have a editor that just specializes in video. Your strong point is obviously as well video,
If
and
you've seen our videos, it's mostly me.
yeah. So no, I'm happy to hear that it's very similar in field to ours, where each person has their speciality and you need to unlock that.
I do feel it comes back to education as well. If you are one of those designers that are self-taught and you decided, okay, I'm going to go YouTube tutorials and whatever, you're going to try to learn everything and you're going to try to master everything. And to an extent, if you go to educational facilities, whether it's a college or like an actual creative college, because there's a few good ones in South Africa, you do get shown and get intros to all, but they kind of do it in a way where you have to choose which one you specialize in the end. So the reason I feel like I'm good at video editing is because we had a whole course, few months where we had to do long form and short form videos. Obviously not to the extent as now, because I studied 12 years ago, and 12 years within the digital space is like millennia. But from there, I could distinguish what I'm good at. And in the Namibian market, you don't always start off in the specific role that you're good at, but if you keep perfecting that thing that you think you can specialize in, then great. Then you'll find and land that job that fits you perfectly. But still, you got to wear more than one hat.
I also feel with a graphic designer, in the sense of what you end up specializing in is also the kind of marketer you always work with. So, for example, I took this short form video content route and we just connected on that. And that is also how, through endless hours of video content created,
Yeah.
that you became so good at what you're doing.
Yeah.
So to end off, I'd like to ask a question. There's a lot of AI
Oh, here it comes.
going around lately, and I think one of the biggest predictions is that graphic design is something that might in future fizzle out because AI will be so good at, I
Yeah.
almost want to say, reading minds, or will be so good at doing the design, and you'll just be able to edit the design with your own text, that marketers will start taking on the roles of designers as well. How do you feel about that? And do you think a graphic designer should equip themselves with AI and then also start taking on a bit of a marketing role as well? Or do you think graphic designers are completely safe?
Okay, so let me gear up for this one. You have to understand that AI can't replace us because you have to tell AI what you want. And 90% of people that designers work with don't always know what they want. So you will still need the human factor to figure out what does this specific client want. And we've seen that so much. We've seen clients come in and out of Wolfpack that came in with a AI heavy stance and ended up not wanting or not gelling with us because we're not the same here at Wolfpack. We're kind of running a hybrid system where we understand that humans are important because we have bias, we have all of these different factors in our brains that help us decide which which thing works well for which client. Whereas if you're going to go with that full, yes, AI, everything, I'm going to do my videos, my logo, my everything with AI, you're going to become generic. AI spits out the same stuff for different people. And you're still going to have that designer friend that's going to tell you, no, but they got their market down and they just know what to prompt, and then they can give them what they want. To a certain extent, yes, but you're losing that human touch. You're losing that part where it's actually art that you're trying to create, but it's not art. It comes back to that conversation where AI steals from other artists, and that's a problem. That's a massive problem in our space, in the creative space in general. And I am very much a fence sitter. I use AI, very open about it. If you're not using AI at this point, you are the 1%. The whole world is using AI, whether you know it or not. And yeah, I love the image generators that we have. I do use it, try to use it ethically, because a lot of the models, and I'm not going to name them by name, but they train unethically. So you have to do research on which models you're using. What are you using these images for? Are you going to use it for a billboard as opposed to are you going to use it for a social media post? Are you using the video generators to kind of, I almost want to say, impersonate a different character or a different person, or are you creating something quote unquote new and unique out of that? It's, yeah, it's a fine line. And I just honestly think you're not going to be able to survive in this world without having the human touch. You can prompt as much as you want to, you're not going to have that Jessica touch, that whatever designer touch or the designer that you're choosing, we always put our personality into it as well. You're not going to have that little bit of human emotion in it if you're just going to use AI.
I think that's something that makes it so difficult to swap designers,
Mm,
is because each designer has that personal touch,
mm,
and if you get it, then it's difficult for someone else to hit that same
mm.
mark. But I mean, that's why the large corporates have these piled on CI guides where
Yeah.
they say, this is our style, this is how to do it. And that obviously doesn't leave a lot of room for
Mm.
creativity, but it does ensure that if one designer decides, I don't want to work with this brand anymore, that there is still some sort of consistency. But anyway, from my side, just want to say thank you for joining me. One last question to completely wrap things up. Do you see AI as an opportunity for designers, or do you see it as a threat to designers?
Again, I'm such a fence sitter. I don't do probably my due diligence and do enough research. But I feel at this point where we are now, it's a threat just because of misinformation to the general public. Us as designers, we mostly are more so towards the negative side. We try to use it to make some processes easier. If you're an industry standard designer, you know we all use Adobe Creative Cloud. They have their own AI things. They've got Adobe Firefly. They've got all of this generative fill and expand and whatever. And obviously, a lot of us are using that to take a process that would take us 2 hours down to like 5 minutes. But then on the other side, you have designers that are like, you know what, we really love AI. Everything we do is we're going to generate it. We're never going to use a stock image in our life ever again. We're not going to push a company to go to like professional photographers and get proper shots of things. We are just going to AI generate everything. And especially in Namibia, where we have such a beautiful country, a lot of it is tourism, a lot of it is beautiful landscapes. Can you imagine how soulless an image would be if you try to generate like Brandberg, try to generate CBD of Windhoek? It's just, it's not going to feel like it's real. It's going to feel so lifeless and dead because you don't have that human element there.
Hmm, I understand. Well, Jessica, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah, probably. Hey.
Ciao.
Ciao.